Alright, you just hired your operations assistant. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of onboarding them and making sure that they are set up for success. Maybe you've tried bringing on operations assistants or personal assistants multiple times and it just never works. Maybe the tasks are not up to your standards and then you end up reworking or doing the work yourself. So in this video, I'm going to show you the steps that you can take to make sure that this operations assistant is actually a game changer for your personal life and your business. The process is really simple and you don't need any extra tools. You just need to make sure to follow the process. On a high level, here's what you need to do. You need to give them business context. What is your offer? Who you're working with. Next, you need to familiarize them with the external relationships, your partners, the vendors, who you're working with externally. Next would be the internal team, who is in your team, if you have any team members, and lastly, the systems and operations. Then they are ready to take over. So let's get started with the first one. The first step is to give them enough business context. You can have these 7 bullet points as I have them right here on my screen. Our industry is this. We market ourselves by running ads or having socials, or maybe we have a great reputation. We work with client profile. We make money by selling 1, 2, 3, whatever you're selling. Either it is products or it is different offers or services. And here's what we do for our clients. If you do, for example, social media marketing, you do SEO, you run ads, list those out. And then here's what we don't do. For example, you need to let them know that maybe you don't build systems for your clients, or you don't run their sales team, or you don't report numbers, etc. And then our goal is, as a business, to hit 100K per month or 200K per month, or to improve XYZ, or to expand in these markets. If you give them this business context, they will be aligned with everything that this business is all about. The next one is giving them context about the external partners. We work with these people for marketing, for finance, for sales, for service and delivery. These are our vendors. We usually buy from these guys or we don't buy from these guys. And the reason why we buy from these guys is X, Y, and Z. If you put these on a table in the same way that I have them here on my screen, it will be really clear for them who to reach out to for marketing, for finance, for sales, and which vendors are the ones that you're mostly working with. Now, this is very generic. You don't have to be in a certain industry for this to work. Whether you are a custom home builder or a marketing agency or a coach, this is the same framework that works for everyone and every assistant that you're bringing on, whether it's executive assistant, personal assistant, or operations assistant. Next, on the step 3, we need to get them familiar with the team. This is something I notice with a lot of companies when they're bringing on executive assistants. They don't have an org chart. Guys, this is really, really simple. You need to create a flow chart where you show the roles, the responsibilities, and the names. For example, we have John as head of marketing and George as head of delivery, and then Michael who does X, Y, and Z, right? We have a clear hierarchy of people and where exactly the operations assistant fits in on this org chart, right? Who are they reporting to and what does the hierarchy actually look like? So then they are not stepping on anyone's toes and they're making sure that there's no task overlap. The last thing you would want to happen is to bring your assistant and now there's chaos with the rest of the team. So make sure to have clear boundaries, clear responsibilities, and this is only going to take you 10 to 15 minutes to do with your operations assistant, executive assistant, etc. Next one is defining the role. Now, a job description is oftentimes seen as just paperwork or you're just doing it for the team members so they have clarity about the role. But the reality of things is like a job description is going to give you clarity as to what this person is doing for the company. Let me show you the structure that I follow for my team. This is what the job description looks like. Now, the first section here is the areas of responsibility. Of course, you cannot predict all the tasks that they will need to handle in the future, but you can make sure that they are responsible for certain areas. For example, it could be your personal travels, or it could be event planning, or client success management, and overseeing the delivery department, right? As long as they are responsible for certain areas, then you can give them tasks and make sure that those are aligned with their roles. And if new tasks come up because the initiatives are changing in the business, then they are still the ones responsible. They will know that they need to handle this aspect of the business. The next part is time and focus allocation. If you don't know personally like what exactly they should be putting their time on, then a general rule of thumb, it would be that they should be working 50% on certain projects that you're handling or different initiatives in the business or quarterly goals that you have, and then the remaining 50% would be communication, email management, events, calendar, etc. And then it is really important that you have a clear mission for their role. Like, what are you actually expecting out of this person? You need to give them clarity on how their role is impacting your personal life, if this is a personal assistant, or the business. So it is really important that you have it here. Everything that I'm sharing with you here, you don't have to sit down and type them and take a lot of time. You can just go on ChatGPT, dictate the vision that you have for the role, and do a little bit of back and forth with GPT, and then you're going to get the exact job description that matches the role that you're hiring for. Then you want to let them know what success in their role looks like. How do they know that they're doing great? For example, when the inbox is cleared every morning, or when clients are happy because there's no message left in seen, or team members are getting unblocked really fast because the assistant is supporting them. This is how they know that they're doing amazing in their role. And you want to let them know what their key target is, if you want to, and then the tools that they're going to be using. For example, if you're expecting them to use Slack or WhatsApp or iMessage or Gmail or Outlook, let them know so they are prepared and they don't need to find out 2 weeks later like, oh, we had all our passwords in one place and then they were creating just like another doc or like a sheet, or they were looking for a software to save all the passwords. Let them know how you are operating. And again, this doesn't have to take a lot of your time. You can just go on GPT and dictate all these things. GPT will spit them out for you, and then you can just copy and paste them on a doc. You're going to set your operations assistant for success if you're sharing as much as possible from the get-go, instead of them finding out certain things or certain aspects of your business 2 or 3 months later. Then you want to let them know what the growth path looks like. For a lot of assistants, maybe there's not a growth path really, meaning you want them to be your assistant, but maybe you can share with them how they can become an executive assistant, or if they are an operations assistant, how they could grow in a different role in the company. And the next thing is you want to have some sort of timetable. So a daily life, what does that look like? For example, in the morning, what are some things they should be providing to you in the morning, or what they should be looking at in the morning? And then in the afternoon. And if you have certain things that you would like to happen on a weekly basis, then you can have that on their weekly schedule. Again, GPT, dictate it, spit it out. And lastly, how they're going to work with certain team members in the company. So for example, how would they work with the sales manager, and how would they work with the clients or certain vendors, or with the finance manager? All this, you would have them on their job description. This way, there's no gray zones. They know what exactly they need to do, how they collaborate with people, what are their areas of responsibility. So that means there's no way that they can fail this role, because they have all the tools, they have all the clarity that they need. At this point, your assistant knows exactly how they should be working within the company and how they should be supporting you. So it is really important to get to the next one, the standards. What are the standards that you have for them or for the company? A tip that I would give you at this point is to also define communication. How fast do you want them to respond back to you? Because if you just ask them to respond within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, then keep in mind that they will not be able to have any focus time to work on their bigger tasks. So I would say if they can communicate within 30 minutes to 1 hour, then that is great, right? 30 minutes, 1 hour, or 1.5 hours. And then you also want them to communicate with clarity. You want them to put the key point at the top of their message and then to add any supportive points. And you also want to communicate with them that if they're blocked, that they should not wait until last minute or even messaging you right away, but instead they should do a little bit of research and then get back to you. Again, this is all about communication. A great personal assistant or executive assistant should know how to communicate with you. But if they don't, because maybe they're just getting started, then you need to set the tone and make sure that they understand that you're not just there as a support center where you're just available to answer to all their questions, right? They are supposed to support you, not the other way around. Well, you can support them at the beginning, but the expectation is that over time, they will support you more than you will be supporting them. And step number 6 is you defining the initial projects for the first month. This is really important because they are not just going to do reactive work and sending just messages, but they're actually going to free up your time. So you want to give them some projects or tasks that you've been working on and you want to delegate. So give them those tasks, set some deadlines for the next 30 days and have them put all the tasks on a doc or a project management tool like ClickUp and get them to make progress progress on those tasks, because maybe you're not as busy right now and maybe you don't have a lot of tasks for them. But try to reflect, are there any tasks that you could delegate? Maybe things that you should not really be spending your time on. Try to delegate those tasks to your assistant. And you can have a dog and a table, just as I'm showing you here on my screen. So then you can put over here the different tasks. You can add on the details, all the resources that they may need, and then just have them track the progress over here on the status field. Again, this will help you free up your time and actually have an assistant that is adding value to the company, and it's not just doing reactive work, but they're actually moving things forward. They're doing needle moving activities. Step number 7 is making sure that they have access to all the tools that you are using, whether it is your Gmail or anything else that you're using for yourself or your company. Make sure to grant those accesses early on. I've worked with multiple businesses where the accesses are literally the last thing that they're sharing because they're a little bit scared to grant those, and either they forget or they don't have time to do it right now, they're going to do it later. But really, this is only stopping your assistant from actually taking care of the tasks on your behalf. So as soon as possible, try to grant them all the accesses that they need to have in order to do their job properly. And if you're afraid of the security of the information, get them to sign an NDA and make sure that that is done early on, so then you don't have any problems with the tools and the logins and the data in the scenario that you have confidential information from clients, etc. And number 8, this would be the last one, and I would say really, really important. Performance and support. At this point, I would love for you if you can give them a daily focus tool. So the daily focus tool is something I use with my team since I started my systems and AI agency, and it is a really simple task. We have a Slack channel that is called productivity, and then I asked everyone in my team to put their focus for the day, because if we can win the day and we can win the week and we can win the month, then we're doing great as a company. So every day I ask my team, and I would suggest you do the same with your operations assistant, that they put their focus for the day on this channel called productivity channel. So over there, they're going to put each and every task that they're planning on completing this day, and it is their commitment for the day. So then they are going to put all the tasks that they're going to work on. If the focus changes, then they can just add a few more tasks, right? Let's say they have more tasks to work on for the day. So by the end of the day, what they're going to do is update their initial message. They're going to add some emojis, just as you can see here. We have these 4 types of emojis. This one means it's still in progress. The check mark means it is done. The red one means that it's blocked. And this one means that it's rescheduled. So they're going to update their message. They're going to send you an end of day message like, hey, done with my tasks. This one is blocked. That one, I didn't have time or it was rescheduled. And this is what their day is going to look like. This way, when they're putting their message early in the morning, you can make sure that they are working on the right things. They're putting their focus on the right things. And if something is wrong, you can just let them know. And then by the end of the day, you would know exactly what they're working on. This way we create accountability and visibility. So you know exactly where their attention is going, where their focus is going, and especially if they're going to get tasks from other team members, you know what they are actually doing in the team and how they're adding value, because it could be that at the beginning they don't know if they should be handling certain tasks or if someone else should be doing this. So maybe they're taking on tasks that they shouldn't be taking on. So then you can just rework their priorities. You can rework their job description, making sure that they only focus on the things that they should be doing. So with that being said, now your operations assistant is ready. They're ready to help you. They're ready to give you back your time and your focus and your energy. There's nothing that is left behind. And if this person is not performing at this point, it's because they're really not a fit. You've given them everything on your end. You've given them the context. You've given them information about your partners and vendors. They know exactly how your team works and what the company is all about. They know what their role is in the company and how they can succeed. And they also have a way to communicate with you their priorities on the day. The last thing I would say here could also be for you to create a process library, meaning to shoot some Loom videos to show them how they can complete each and every task. But that would be a little bit of a stretch, because maybe it's just a simple task such as sending an email, communicating with a vendor, etc. So guys, thank you for watching. If this is something that you really enjoy, then check out also all my other videos on my YouTube channel where I share more about systems, operations, automations, and AI. I would love to see you also on my Systems and AI Academy. Check the link below to see what exactly it is that we do for our clients who are scaling to multiple 6 and 7 figures per month. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.